Hello and welcome to another solo episode on the Traumweberinnen Podcast. My name is Manuela and I'm your host. And I feel like it's been a while since the last time that I did a solo, and I was feeling really anxious, or a little bit anxious today, because it's just been a while and it is always... I always have to push myself to do this. I know that I'm enjoying it in the process, and I am enjoying recording and preparing the episode. But before that, I'm always like, what I'm gonna talk about, and feeling really anxious speaking into the camera and speaking about really vulnerable, personal, private things. That's just never easy in the beginning, but once I overcome that, and once I'm clear on what I want to talk about and why I want to talk about it, it gets easier. And I actually really, really enjoy doing this. Once I sit here in front of the camera and have my notes prepared and I'm talking to you, then it's just flowy and I really love it. But getting myself to do it is always a little bit of a push, or I have to push myself to do it. Especially when the last time I did it has been months, I think. A whole summer has been between the last solo and this one. And I've had some really incredible interviews in between, and a lot of really great experiences over the summer that I really want to talk about, and get you guys, get you gals into the boat again of what's happening in my life and what is going on for me right now, what is happening, where am I at on my spiritual journey, and update you girls on what's happening. And today is the 29th of September. I am filming this on the day that I will publish this, which kind of shows that I, again, waited until the very last moment to record this, because I'm just the biggest procrastinator on the planet. But that's not something that should stop us from showing up and doing the things that we care about. So that's that. Now I'm realizing that I'm looking at my notes a lot more than I used to. I'm not a big fan of preparing, actually, but today I did because I was anxious. So that's that. And end of September. So 29th of September last year, I kind of, like, this week, eclipse season and everything has me reflect on the last year. And so a couple of days ago, this realization hit me that exactly a year ago, I was starting my transformation journey. I had the idea for the podcast and sort of a couple of ideas about what I really wanted to do last summer. So last summer was the first time when I was like, okay, something is up, something is not feeling right, I need to change something. And then ideas started to come to me, and I actively started to be like, okay, but what do I want to do instead if it's not this life as a full-time journalist that I want to do? And then at the end of September was really the time where I was like, okay, I cannot go on like this. I'm very close to burnout. I'm not happy. Things are spiraling downwards, and I need to change something. In that realization and that coming up with the steps to do, like a certain action plan, specific action plan, and really planning on taking action to change something, was the end of September. And I think I gave myself like a week, first week of October or 2 weeks of October to think about that and let it marinate in my brain, the decisions that I wanted to take, the decision to eventually quit my job. I let that marinate for 1 or 2 weeks, and then I took the steps. And I just want to remind everyone, and also remind myself, like when you're in a bad place, or when you're in a place where you want to change something and you're like, okay, I'm really, this is not it, and you have the steps that you want to take, or the things that you, from your perspective, can want and need to change, it's not like it gets better instantly. And for me, I feel like September was the last month where it was kind of okay, but I was still like in a really bad place. And then I made the decision, and I had the action plan, and I took action. And then I think for the next 4 months, it just went down gradually, even though I took the steps to make it better. And this is just a reminder that even if you take the steps and you take the first baby steps, it might get even worse for the first couple of months. Because you have, and this is very Abraham Hicksy, who I love, like you have a momentum going on when it's like a stone that's rolling down a mountain, or a snowball, and it just gets bigger and bigger and faster when it rolls down the mountain, and it picks up more snow, and it gets bigger and faster. And you build that momentum when you go into a certain direction. And for me, it was this direction of, okay, I'm a full-time journalist, in this kind of relationship with this kind of life and structure and daily life and habits. And you build momentum as long as you go. And the longer you go in that direction, the more snow you pick up, and the bigger your snowball gets, and the more momentum you have, and the faster you are. And I remember this analogy that Abraham Hicks did once, where he said, in San Francisco, where everything is like really steep down, and then you have a little bump where the road crosses, and then it goes down again. And like when your car starts rolling down, and you manage to put the handbrake in the first bump, or you manage to kind of stop it in the first bump, it's not that hard to stop because it has not picked up that speed yet. But when you let that car roll down the whole hill, the stopping process is going to be harder and harder and harder. And so for me, I spiraled downward pretty hard after I'd made the decision I want to improve my life, and I want to take certain steps to improve my life. And I took those steps. Like I quit that job, and I can't tell you how hard it was to have that conversation to leave, and to have everybody, like when I look back now, it seems so trivial. So yeah, you quit a job and you left. Duh, that's totally fine. But at that time, I already had so much momentum going on in that direction. And to then pull the handbrake, to pull the brakes, it was just so damn hard. And that conversation was so hard to have with my boss that I wanted to leave. And the conversations with all of my coworkers who were taken by surprise that I wanted to leave. And conversations with my friends and with my family. And for the people that were really close to me, did not come as a surprise, and they noticed that I was awful and were glad that I was pulling the brakes. But for so many people who only see that momentum and that snowball going down the hill, getting bigger and bigger and faster and more powerful eventually, it was kind of hard to grasp. So I just really want to give you that metaphor, or that picture, that when you're at a place and you make the decision to change something and you take the first steps, do not be surprised or disappointed that things are spiraling down even further, and that things are getting worse at first, and the first couple of months, and the push back that you're getting because you've built all this momentum in one direction, it is hard to stop that snowball. You are getting that pushback. And I just want to tell you that you're not alone and that this is for everyone. And people will feel it individually, like depending on how much momentum they have built up and how strong they are in pulling the brake. Because I, at that time, was so weak. I was strained out of my whole energy because all of my energy had gone into the snowball and not into myself. So when I tried to hold that snowball and to pull the brakes, I was so weak, and just every single step felt so hard to take. And just bear that in mind, that it also, that there are so many factors that play into you pulling the handbrake and you stopping the snowball and rolling it into a different direction, maybe breaking it up, and maybe you have to destroy the snowball or or let the car drive into the sea and then go buy a new car or build a new snowball, and then maybe you have to go back up the hill and roll a completely new snowball down another hill. But that, it takes time, it takes strength, effort, energy, it takes so much. And for me, those 4 months, I made the decision end of September, beginning of October, and I took the first steps, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And when I was finally rid of the snowball, when I was unemployed, I had to go find myself a new snowball. I had to build up a new snowball, and I was so weak, and I had to get back up the hill, and I was so exhausted from simply stopping the snowball or stopping the car that was going down really fast downhill in San Francisco, right to the sea. I was so exhausted from simply stopping that, and I had managed to stop it. There were so many ideas in my head about new snowballs that I could build, new cars that I could get. But I was so weak. And you have to give yourself the time to mourn the loss of your snowball or your car that you've had for maybe years. And you have to rest to get your strength back. And allow yourself that, because I did not allow that to myself. I was like, okay, I need to perform right away now. I have destroyed my snowball. I have crashed my car. What are people gonna think now? I have no car. I have no snowball. Everybody has a snowball. Everybody has a car. I can't go around like this without my car, without my snowball. I need to perform right away and be a functioning member of society again, be a functioning partner again. And the people that really love you, they want you to rest. They want you to get back to your best self, where you feel good again. And they will help you and guide you and support you and be there for you. And everybody who does not want that for you, everybody who's pressuring you into getting a new snowball, or maybe picking up the pieces of your old snowball or your old car and fix your old car and push it up the hill again, that's the sign. And for me, I did not allow myself to really rest. And yeah, that was not good. That was not good. And I was in a really bad place because I did not allow myself to rest. I was lashing out at people. I was really grumpy. I was getting into fights. I was getting into arguments. I can't even say more than don't do that. And I'm just noticing that I'm not talking about what I what I wrote down, what is in my notes. But I don't know. I just felt like this was an important story to tell. So actually, don't make notes. Don't prepare. The universe is giving you what you need to talk about. But yeah, now is the time where I kind of reflect back on that. And it was like super, super hard until January. And I've spoken about this a lot, that then things started to fall away on their own. And once I allowed myself to breathe, no, I did not. Actually, I did not allow myself to breathe. The universe was like, you fucking breathe now. And it was like getting stuff and relationships and people out of my way and really forcing myself to see and to notice, oh, I need to take a break now. And I think I've talked about this enough in my previous episodes, so I won't go there again. And then once I allowed myself to breathe, things started to get better, and I started to notice things again. I started to notice the people and the friends that held me in that time, that supported me, and I was able to be grateful and voice that gratitude and show them that gratitude, and I was able to become myself again. And after a couple of months, actually in this summer, a lot of my friends said to me, wow, we finally have you back. You finally feel like you again, and you speak like you again. And obviously I have evolved, but also I have found myself again. The person that I lost in the hustle and in the constant need to show the world that I'm good enough, or how good I am, and how well I play this game. And that's what happens. That's what happened when I allowed myself to breathe again. And that was starting in February. That was the time I did not have Wi-Fi in my new flat for, I think, over a month. And that was actually a blessing. It was annoying. It was super annoying. But that was the first time in a long time where I was really like, okay, reading a book in the evening, drinking tea, talking to myself again. I had not talked with myself for 2 or 3 years, and I grew up an only child. I have conversations with myself. I think that's why this feels so natural once I get down to do it, to speak in front of a camera, because to nobody, because I'm an only child. That's like basically everything I've done my entire life. I talk to myself and we work things out, and we I observe things and look at what triggers me or how I behave in certain situations. I reflect on that with myself, and I hadn't done that in, I think, 2 or 3 years. Like, once I started entering the workforce, that kind of stopped because there were so many other things that needed my attention, and that's fine, you know. Life is cyclical. That is also something I have learned over the past 5 years, I think. Life is cyclical. There are phases where a lot of things happen all at once, and then there are times to breathe again. There's a summer where everything is super exciting, and you want to get so much done, and you're really making quantum leaps, and things are happening for you. And then things are slowing down again. There's autumn, and you enjoy all the colors. You reap the rewards of everything that you've done. And then there's winter, and it's time to rest again and to look at what happened over the past, time. To look and evaluate and redirect if needed. And yeah, I think there is beauty in that. And it allows yourself to accept the fact that there are times where nothing happens, like literally nothing. And I'm in a phase now where for months, literally nothing has happened. I mean, I had the greatest time spending time with friends, making trips just for myself, doing retreats just for myself. But in terms of all these worldly accomplishments, Nothing has happened. I have taken up a new job beginning of this year where I do social media and communications management, and I really like that job. And it has different flavors to it. Like, I will do social media, and then I will write texts, articles. The job has different flavors, and it never tastes the same. And I love the basic human needs that it fulfills for me and pays for that. So I have that job, my day job that I go to, and I have all these activities with friends. I have my wedding band, but that's basically just it. I have not met a single male person these past 9 months where I'm like, hello. No, I haven't, and it's been really relaxing. It's been so relaxing, and I allow my body to catch up to its natural rhythm again, as I've stopped the hormonal, stopped taking the pill, hormonal birth control. So apart from not even apart from that, literally nothing is happening in my life. I'm doing my podcast, I'm doing all of my projects, but I'm definitely in winter right now, and I'm actually really enjoying it. But I allow myself to enjoy it, and I have it in the back of my mind because I have experienced this in the past, that there is a time where literally nothing happens, and this can go on for 2 or 3 years, and then in half a year, things start happening that would be nicer if they had happened gradually over 3 years, but no, they happen in 2, 3, 4, 5 months. So I kind of know, okay, this is now a resting time for me, and I can use this resting time to grow personally so that when the next challenge or the next blessing comes in, I am ready to step up my game and I'm ready to receive it. And this is where, for me, spirituality comes in. And spirituality has always been, I'm super into understanding everything. I'm I'm asking questions all the time. I want to get behind why people do certain things, why certain things happen. And for me, spirituality explains a lot of that. I'm into Christianity, but I'm also into how different religions explain things, happenings, the human psyche. I'm into psychology, I'm into shamanism, into channeling, I'm into so much. I'm looking into different flavors of spirituality. This is a time for me where, on the outside, nothing is happening, but on the inside, a lot is happening, and I'm really observing myself and my reactions and my body and my thinking and my habits. And I go to shamans, and I talk with my girlfriends a lot about the things that are up for myself. I have never talked with my girlfriends so much about what happens to the female body as now, where I am in the midst of so many changes due to the fact that I have taken hormones for 5 years straight to not get pregnant. And now I don't take these hormones again, and my body is freaking out and doing all this crazy stuff. I'm in the second puberty. My skin is freaking out, has been for the past 6 months, 7 months. I am gaining weight. My hair is not as beautiful as it used to be. I really feel my body is detoxing a lot. And I want to talk about this with my girlfriends. And I have so many conversations about the female body that I have not had in my 25 years prior as I have now. And about, what they do to not get pregnant when they're not taking the pill. So I have all of these conversations now, and I use this time before I get with somebody again to really get to know my own body and to get to know what my needs are, and before I have to level up professionally again, or before I want to level up professionally again, I try to do a lot of personal growth work in the sense of looking at what triggers me in the workforce, and really trying to figure out how I can be a good leader for when I have to take on more responsibility. And I think that what limits us a lot in these areas is our fears and our insecurities. And for me, spirituality is a wonderful way to explore where my fears could be coming from. I love getting into what my ancestors were afraid of, what could have been the fears, or what are the fears that I have taken over from past lives, because I, for myself, do think that there is a correlation, and I have got that validated in sessions for me with shamans and with systemic family coaches, and also in conversations with friends who are into that, with my girlfriends who do tarot readings for me. I love that. I have a circle of women around me who are into the same witchy shit. I love that. And I love that I have this time now. And I heard a quote once. I actually don't remember by whom it was, and I don't remember the exact wording, but I remember the feeling and the thoughts that it left with me. And it was sort of along the lines, it was this multi-millionaire, billionaire dude. He was like, I would give away all of my wealth. I would give away all of my fortune in exchange to be 20 and poor again. And that really got me thinking, because I was like, my whole life I have been aspiring to be something greater and to get wealthy, to get famous, all these dreams that we have as young girls when we see beautiful celebrities, beautiful actresses, and all these really successful business women who are just so beautiful and so seem like so in love with their life and seem like they have it all together. And I have always been the one who was like, I want to be that. I want to be the Sandra Bullock in one of her movies, strutting around with that super cute business outfit and a Starbucks coffee, this is no advert, in her hands, and like being this super successful businesswoman who's got it all together. I always wanted that. But when I read that quote, I was like, there's something true to that. Because when I was like really hustling to climb the corporate ladder, I was always like, oh my God, I was so much happier when I was studying and when I was at university, still dreaming about being this person that I now am, sort of, halfway. I was so much happier dreaming about this, but being at a place where I was able to do everything every day that I wanted to do. Grab a coffee with that friend. Yes, I have time. I can do that. Go climb a mountain. Yes, I have time. I can do that. Yes, I was poor. I wasn't poor, but I wasn't rich either. So my options were limited. But I was so free in that. I was so free of responsibilities and so free of living up to an ideal, fulfilling certain standards that were expected of me. And when I was climbing the corporate ladder, there were these expectations and the high standards from outside and from what I put on myself. And yes, at a certain point, when you climb this corporate ladder, you can afford, really expensive clothes and really expensive trips and jewelry and going to the hairdresser every week. But do you have the freedom to really enjoy that? Do you have the freedom of mind or the peace of mind to really enjoy that? And so that quote really hit me when he was like, I would give away everything to be 20 and poor again. So I was like, that's very interesting. And for me, it was this experience of running after this perfect life, and it was awful. And I was like, yeah, I want to be 20 and poor again. And I'm what? At that time when I read it, I think it was 24, and I did not have a fortune, but I was trying to amass it in the way that everybody is trying to, hustling hard and trying to fulfill expectations that society puts on you, and you yourself put on yourself, because you want to be that perfect woman, that perfect businesswoman, that perfect partner, that perfect daughter. And so I was like, I should really enjoy being poor and young and free and with this peace of mind and this innocence and this naivete. I should enjoy this a lot more. And so what is different for me in this winter, because I have been in winter phases before. I was in a winter phase during COVID before I got my internship at Red Bull, and then, got my career rolling, sort of. I was in this winter phase, but I did not enjoy it. I was like, I need to hustle. I want things to happen a lot faster. I want to get ahead of time. I want to be da-da-da-da-da. And I was really stressing out. Well, not always. I was also enjoying, but I was also stressed. And so this time, I really tried to be aware of the fact that this is a phase and it is going to get faster and again, and blessings and challenges are going to come in. So I should really enjoy and use this time where I can rest and breathe. I really want to allow myself to enjoy and rest and breathe. And I want to be grateful for this period where I have a job that I like to go to every day, that fulfills my basic human needs, where I can learn a lot of skills that I can also use for my private businesses. I have enough time to work on my projects. I have enough time and resources to go on amazing adventures with my friends. And I really try to enjoy this now and to look at it like, wow, this is such a blessed time that I will look back at when things are getting really fast again and things are happening again, be it challenges or blessings. At some point in the future, I will look back at this time and be like, oh my God, how nice was it? Being out with girlfriends every week, well, not like out and about drinking, but meeting up with girlfriends, doing witchy stuff, doing women retreats, doing, traveling and really enjoying life with my girlfriends and alone, living in this beautiful place that I've moved into 9 months ago, trying out different spiritual paths and finding what works best for me, working on myself, having these nights where I'm just sitting in front of a candle, meditating and connecting with myself, talking to myself again. I love talking to myself again. I love spending time alone. Finally, I have learned to say no, and I hope that it stays that way, but I enjoy my own presence so much again. And I'm not wholly there yet, but there are moments where I really do feel enough just the way that I am. And I really hope that I can deepen that relationship with myself in this time, so that when the blessings or the challenges come, I'm ready to step up to them. And that's actually something that I've written down. The blessing comes when you're ready and not when you want it or need it. And I do find myself in periods and moments where I'm like, oh my God, I want things to be faster and And I want things to move and get moving, get rolling. And I want the next thing to come at me. I want so many doors to open for me that I can walk through. And I want the next big break. And I want to evolve with a podcast. And I want to, but the thing is, would I be ready now? Would I even now in my constant state be ready to handle the podcast becoming super popular and requests coming in for me to speak publicly about whatever? And, would I be able now to handle the responsibility that comes with the next level? And I don't think that I would be. And I have the opportunity to work on that now. I have the peace of mind to work on that now, and the time and the resources to really connect with myself and work on that. So that's why it's actually pretty good that the blessing comes when you're ready and not when you want it or need it. So might as well just put the pressure away and be graceful with yourself. Have the grace and the patience with yourself that not everything is coming when you want or need it the most. And I think that as such is a blessing, because would I be able to handle it? No, I would not be able to handle it right now. But when I continue working on myself and continue imagining and trying to find out where I want to go with my life and what the blessings are that I actually want for me to happen, I will grow with that, and I will be able to hold it and handle it when it comes. And I think with that, we're at the end of the episode, and I hope that in whatever season you are right now, be it spring, be it summer, be it autumn, be it winter or fall or winter, that you can enjoy this time and that you can allow yourself time to breathe, even if you're at a high point in your life and things are happening for you, you're in your summer and everything is going great, that you can still take yourself out of the rush and allow yourself to breathe, to check in with yourself and just talk to yourself. Be like, hey, how are you? For real, how are you today? What are you proud of that you've done in the past few days, months? And where are you, what do you not like about how you've reacted or how you've been with people, or how people have treated you? Do you see a correlation there? And what is it that really annoys you right now? Or what is it that makes you really happy right now? What would you want to do this weekend? Like here in Austria, we've had enormous amounts of rain during the past couple of weekends, and that's been a lot, and that's been awful for many people and tragic in certain areas. Here in Salzburg, it has not been that bad, and I have really used that weekend to go into hermit mode again and to be like treating myself to watching a complete Netflix series in an evening, which I haven't done for a while, and I've treated myself to nature walks in the rain and getting really, getting dirt on my jeans and wading through water puddles with my trainers who are, I think, on the verge of, I have to throw them away now. But, really, I know it's super hard when the weather is nice to stay home and to check in with yourself and to go into hermit mode. I'm the same. I'm exactly the same. But maybe use the next, if I can give you that, or if I can speak from my experience, I love these weekends where it just rains and I have said no to every single social thingy out there, and I can just go into full hermit mode, get my pumpkins out and have my pumpkin with the candle inside, going like full Halloween mode watching Netflix all evening, or reading a good book, or like going full witchy and light your candle and meditate with a candle and maybe draw some cards. Love it. I love it. Tune in with myself, have fun with myself. When I've watched Dairy Girls and I could not stop laughing. I love Dairy Girls. If I can give you that recommendation, I got that recommendation from a good friend of mine. She was like, you have to watch Dairy Girls. I think she said that to me like 4 months ago, and I have not done it because I have to be in the mood for starting a whole series. But I loved it. Group of girlfriends in Northern Ireland in the 90s. I laughed my ass off the whole night. I love those weekends, and these are the weekends where you're like spending quality time with yourself, getting to know yourself better, treating yourself, soak in the bathtub, be like, hey, I love you, and I want to treat you well, and I want to know how you are. Like, treat yourself like you would treat your best girlfriend after a breakup. And those are the weekends that fill my batteries. And I'm an introvert and an extrovert, half. So sometimes I need those weekends, and then I need weekends again where I'm doing fun stuff with my girlfriends and talking about witchy stuff, talking about spirituality, talking about what lights us up. I love that as well. But, you know, getting to know yourself and getting to know who you are, basically, that is such a game changer. And allow yourself the breathing time, allow yourself the winter phases, allow yourself to get to know yourself, to treat yourself, allow yourself that, because that is a game changer. A weekend like that can change your whole mood, and it can change basically what you attract the next week. Are you calm and rested and attract people that are kind to you, or are you stressed out and lash out at people and they give you a hard time in return? Treating yourself with kindness is a game changer, and I know that it's hard. I've been there, and I'm really struggling with my body right now and with everything, all the changes that are happening. And there are days when I'm really mean to my body, where I hate my body, and where I'm like, why are you doing this to me? You used to be so beautiful just 3 years ago, and now you're giving me a hard time. I have those days, and then I try to be kind to my body again. But it's not always easy living as a woman, living in this society where we are conditioned to be perfect all the time, or that we're conditioned to believe that we have to be perfect all the time, and that we have to work super hard to prove our worth and to be super beautiful and gorgeous doing that. No, like, I have a bad hair day today, and if you can see me, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm wearing sunglasses on my head so that you cannot see my greasy hair, because today's hair washing day, but I did not want to wash my hair before doing this recording. So I have a messy bun, and I'm wearing sunglasses on my head. So you don't, hopefully, don't see my greasy hair. But yeah, just be kind to yourself. That is my message for you today. And I know it's hard, but it's worth it. And let's try together, because growth is a dance and not a light switch, and not every day will be a good day. But give yourself the kindness that you deserve, because you are worthy, and you are so loved by your peers, by the world, by the universe. And sometimes it just takes ourselves to see that too, in order to be kind to ourselves and to others. Thank you for listening. I wish you a very happy and joyful week.